Okay.
Stream status, no data. Okay, here we go. Yep, I think we're good.
Waiting for you to go live, and I'll pull it up.
Guardian Radio live.
Yep, looks like we're live.
Live now.
There we go.
You know what I'm gonna do? Let me pop this chat out. It's easier for me to see. What's up,
Pop
stream?
that shit
Hello,
out.
stream. What's up, everybody? Let me pull this up in YouTube Gaming, so it looks much better there.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too, Sean. I like the black.
Yeah, because like with the Twitch looking black background, it makes it so much easier to read chat.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
What's up, J-Bo? Omega? Who else? Where's everybody? Let me text Beverly. Live now, honey bunny. Live now, honey bunny. Honey bunny. What's up, everybody in chat? We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Oh yeah.
Knee deep in the grind.
That's right.
Anyway, Ethan.
Where the hell am I? Ah, there it is.
The Real Chaos Gaming? I think they are.
Yeah. My daughter was in my closet the other day and said, "That looks like Iron Man." I was like, "Well, that's actually what it's called. It's the Iron Man."
The Iron Man scuff. Nice. All
Got that at G-Con last year.
right, let me actually tweet out that we are live. Whoops.
Sir Anonymous. Neo Xander. What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Guardian Radio. 253.
Oh.
253. Copy link.
I apologize now. I've got a piece of chicken stuck in my tooth or something.
I got a whole bunch of them here. I got that white. I got the purple people eater. The black one. I got a dragon one.
Oh, there we go.
Many of them. Hey, Branson.
Always got to have flaws.
Branson, what's up, dudes? There's the loyalty sub badges. That's why you have the little crucible icon next to you.
We will be talking about Iron Banner, Hunter of Destiny.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we
The
got to talk about the bananas returns tomorrow.
That's
The
right.
banana
Looking forward to
banana
it.
is in the rundown. Yep.
Hey, Time Splitter.
Alrighty. Time Splitter, what's up, man? Thank you for holding down the chat.
Yeah, thank you for modding, man.
Time Splitter's the man, definitely, for that. You know, I think I might have figured out the Twitch, the flickering. So, guys, keep an eye on it. Well, actually, it'll take a second here once we start recording. But I think if I put my Skype window in front of OBS, then it doesn't do it.
It's trying to fight it?
I think if OBS is in front of that window, then it flicks.
Skype's trying to fight it.
Right now, it's in
Yeah,
front of it.
I just now I saw one little quick flick.
Okay, that was probably when I moved and put the window in front, and then now hopefully it won't do it.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it now when I go over to start recording, and then hopefully I don't know. I just noticed that it seems like it at least helps it a little bit. But stream, all right, guys, are we ready?
We're ready.
You guys could be with us tonight. We got a good one in store. Yeah, like they said, man, lots and lots to talk about. So here we go. Guardian Radio, episode 253. 53. Recording there, and we are a go. Here we go. Welcome everyone to Guardian Radio, the first and longest running Destiny podcast on the net. I am your host, Mark Turcott, and joining me this week, first up, from inside his closet, K-Dub. K-Dub, what's up, man?
What's up, everybody? Man, it's been an interesting week. The grind is real.
Yes.
And it's funny, you know, we've had some people talking about the difficulty of the heroics and all kinds of stuff that we're going to talk about. So it's going to be a good one. We got a lot to talk about. A lot in the twab. Sorry, Deej. But
he hates the twab.
There's been some really cool stuff going on. There's some really good changes again. Bungie's listening once again, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes going forward. So let's do this, man.
Yeah. And of course, joining us from the heart of Queens, our king of Queens, Mesa Sean. Sean, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, the grind is real. I'm enjoying it. I'm not speed running it. I think I'm like 372 on 2 characters and 370 on my Titan.
Wow.
But
nice.
I'm loving the fact that like I finished my weekly milestones and then I have something still else I want to work on. You know, like whether it was the Crimson Catalyst kills or the now I'm working on the Borealis kills. You know, did all the adventures. So tomorrow we should have step 3 of the Polaris Lance exotic quest. So
yes.
I'm enjoying having these other things outside of like, all right, got to do the weekly milestones, get as powerful as you can. You know, like there's other things to do and explore. I finally got the sword last night, that the World Line Zero.
By the way, that's what you want to use Borealis for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you're
that's
those
true.
data fragments, and you gotta shoot a different. That's how I did.
You know
it.
what?
That's what
I didn't use it for that though,
yeah.
because I was running out of heavy, man. So I was just
Really?
I was just switching
I killed
between
a couple
whatever weapon
mobs,
I had.
and boom, there was heavy everywhere.
Yep.
But yeah.
I just fired up Dado's video. I did a public event, and I just kept going back to that public event. to find all the heavy bricks, power bricks, and then I just go back to watching Data's video to go through each one of them until I got them all.
I used Eric's. Eric's had a great one too.
That's whose video I use. Yeah, Eric's. But what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 253. Thank you here for joining us, however you're tuning in, whether it's on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? We're over there live on Sean's channel at youtube.com/MesaSean. We're there live every Monday night. To keep up with the time, follow us on Twitter at Guardians of D. It's the best way to keep in touch with us. Know when we're going to go live, as well as any other announcements or just retweets, all that good stuff that we have. If you want to have your voice heard here on the show, you can email us, feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. Send us your thoughts. We got some great emails coming up here in the show. We're glad you guys have been sending those in. Keep them coming. You know, Bungie clearly listens to the show and listens to some feedback. So, you know, they
I feel like they listen to me.
Directly. No, they didn't listen to me. It's coming from the whole community. But we got lots to talk about this, guys. Let's jump in here first with kind of what we've been doing. Sean, you mentioned you went and got the sword this past week.
Yes.
I actually went and got the sleeper finally this week.
I did get the sleeper too, yeah.
What do you think of
amazing.
Because for me, like I've noticed any of the yellow bars that are like spawning around the map, they're like two-shot. Done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Insta death with the sleeper. It's ridiculous. What do you think,
We've
Sean?
been using it on Escalation Protocol. That thing does hella damage. When the weekly heroics have solar, that thing's really, really good. I mean, it's just so much DPS. But I don't know, because this week we had Void, so it was obviously just Graviton Lance time.
G-Lance, baby, it was so great.
It was solar the first week, I think, and then this week it's Void, which means next week it's probably going to be Arc. You know what I mean? So it's giving me a reason to fiddle around with different exotics, and not having to use the same, 10 weapons I use for every single strike or every. I mean, like Skyburner's Oath, I'm using that for the entire raids now. When I do the Leviathan, you get a bonus for the throne room for most of the parts of it. That thing is so much fun now.
It is. I was all over Skyburner's week 1, G-Lance week 2. Next week, man, I got to figure it out, but I'm thinking it might be the skirt. Do you know what that is?
What is that?
Come on, the skirt when you shoot it. Come on, what is that?
Hardline. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What's the gun that shoots a billion little arc dudes out at the same time?
Risk Runner?
No.
Warcliffe Coil.
Wait, what? What'd you say, Mark?
The Colony?
No. Come on, really, you guys?
Tractor Cannon. I don't know. What are you talking about?
You said Arc, right?
Yes.
Cold Heart, Risk Runner.
No. Nobody?
Come on, Gator. What do you got here? You're stalling the show.
The sword?
I know. No. All right.
What other exotic?
What? It had 2 names before, and now it has 1. And God, Bungie got mad at us for using a specific name on it, and it's something else now. And it's kind of like a rocket launcher, but different. There it is.
There it is.
The what?
Warcliffe Coil, man.
For the record, Gator does a terrible Warcliffe Coil impression.
Did I not say that 3 times? I said Warcliffe.
I did not hear you say Warcliffe. Yes,
okay.
Warcliffe Coil all day long. It's going to be nuts. I didn't hear you say that, Johnny. Sorry.
Okay.
That thing is going to be bananas next week in Arc. And then Striker Titan is my main. And I've forgotten the name of that. What's the helmet? Looks like a stone stupid statue that we wear.
I can't think of it.
Somebody said Dubious Volley, aka Warcliffe Coil. Correct. So that thing gives you an overshield when you're in your super, which is awesome in PvP, by the way. But I'll be using that bad boy, and I'm going to call it Dubious Volley. It's going to be a lot of fun running Arc next week. And lightning grenades, my bae.
What do you guys think of the fact that it's an Arc Singe or Void Singe and not necessarily a burn? What do you think of that?
People are complaining. I noticed a difference because the best way to do the Prestige Nightfall, score does not matter. We fired up the Nightfall. We did it on Void, and we did it with Heavyweight, and we got no score whatsoever, and 2 of us got the new Nightfall unique reward, which is that rocket launcher, which is, people are arguing with me, like, it's not better than Sins of the Past. Look, it's got you could configure it to have the same blast radius as Sins of the Past, but with much, much higher velocity, kind of like Curtain Call, Of course, everyone just, has their...
I did get an Arc Curtain Call, though. That's so, I thought about infusing it, but I didn't. So I do have a nice Arc Curtain Call, too. So that'll probably be, if I don't need to go exotic in that slot, if I want to use something else, that'll probably be where I go, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been stocking up on mods like crazy because of them changing the burns every week.
Yeah, Sean, me too, man. Yeah.
I just been, as soon as I get 100,000 Glimmer, I run a Banshee, I just buy a boatload of mods and just start converting them into
You know what I did for me this week, because the first week, well, really both weeks, I've been running the to get the sleeper. So you've been having to use that Ikelos hand cannon.
Yeah.
So the first week I had it solar and had my Sins of the Past solar, and then this week switched them both over to void, just so I could run with those. And so I was always running like my exotic as my primary, just because switching over just for that little bit of Singe, especially when you're a little bit lower level running those heroics, you just kind of needed to do that. Although I will say this week the heroics, I felt much better kind of running through. I think I got up to 354 this week, and so it was like not bad running through those. I mean, this week I mainly just focused on doing that sleeper quest, and Escalation took me a little bit. It was really just one night. It took me maybe like an hour or so to kind of just get the group together of people to kind of run, because for those that don't know, you have to at least beat 3 levels of Escalation Protocol. It doesn't need to be 1 through 3, just it could be 3 level 1s. And so what I did was I just kept going to public events, and kind of just through that process, eventually you got 5 or 6 people there. And the minute that public event ended, I instantly started Escalation Protocol. And then we just at least melted that first level just to get it done, just so you can.
How about the guy when there's like 1 minute left for the public event and somebody pops an Escalation and you have 3 people there?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. You're killing me, dog.
I've kind of been that ass
like 4 times this week.
I've kind of been that ass that uses Escalation Wave 1 to get my Crimson kills, because it's all thralls, and they just line right up. Precision, or the Borealis thing. I'll fire it up and just start sniping them over and over. But I've noticed lately with randoms, and we're going to debate about this, because I put a video out today talking about what I think Bungie's philosophy is behind Escalation Protocol.
Yeah. We
did it this weekend with 9 people. First off, it's a nightmare to get 9 people together. But I have noticed as power levels have crept up, now me with randoms, we've gotten to level 3. Whereas in week 1, we could barely beat level 1.
It's another week. It's because it's another week of people going through their milestones and getting leveled up and a little strong.
And I think their intentions, this is me speculating, is that it's not for everyone to do right away, and that down the road, everyone out on patrol, most, not everybody, I'm generalizing here, will be of 380, hopefully higher, 370s, and beat level 7 with just randoms. Everyone's yelling at me saying they should have matchmaking, but I don't think that's their philosophy behind it. Their philosophy is it's an out-and-about activity. It is considered endgame content. You have to be powerful to beat it, because the ads and the bosses at the end are 400 power. So, I mean, people want matchmaking. Bungie, I think Cosmo or Dylan did tweet out that they have taken the feedback, They have noticed.
Here's the part that we're afraid of, though, Shawnee, is that by the time we are potentially powerful enough to just go in there and find randoms that are on patrol to do an Escalation Protocol, the player list has dwindled, and there's not enough people to do it.
Yeah,
that's the fear that we have.
And what's the situation when it comes to just being out on patrol? Like, if there are 3 solo players there, is that all you're going to get? Because there's only the potential to have 3 fire teams in that instance, and because there's 3 solo players there, people have to join on them to get that number any higher. Is that how it works? You know what I mean? Like, you can't technically have 5 solo players there, right? Because theoretically, each one of them can have then 2 people spawn.
Yeah.
No. It's just like the tower. It's a server, and only so many players are allowed to go into it. So once you get that many people in that section, nobody else is going to be able to go down into that.
Right. So
they'll put you in a different
So if
server.
There was 5 solo players there, and each one of them invited 2 players each, it wouldn't let 30 people in. It would just say, nope, you can't join that person. I've never seen that happen.
That part I don't know.
That's why I think it only allows 3 people.
If you're in there with 9 just people in general, can you have somebody come in? I don't know that. Well, that's a good question.
I think what it is essentially is there's either 3 solos or maybe like a fire team, a fire team of 2 and 1 solo. So like that, I think, is where the issue's been right now. Is like you're not really seeing other fire teams. Like, I wish there was a way just to say, hey, I have 3 on my fire team. We want to just spawn into this area with 2 other fire teams, and just let us try and do that. Like, I don't even care about whether they're trying to do escalation. Just let us go in and do that. But you know, Sean, like you're saying, I mean, that is the idea of them, was they wanted to, create some longevity to the leveling, which then just makes people come back to the game more and more. And, hopefully when people are of the level, you're going to see it. But like you said, I even saw this week, I saw more people in Escalation Protocol. I mean, those first, just for me to get those 3 levels, there were people willing to do it. Where week 1, people were running. Like, nobody wanted to do it. The minute you pop that,
they were
like,
bolting out of there. Huh?
People were hanging around. So I think that's kind of becoming a thing. And what's cool now, I think, with the Scout Rifle quest is last week we had, step 2. Tomorrow we're going to have step 3. That in itself is bringing people back to the game, or at least I don't want to say necessarily just the hardcore, but those people who want to come back to Destiny as a hobby, that's a very attainable quest so far. At least the first 2 steps were. That's something getting you in there. You're seeing your milestones in your face. You're out there maybe doing those. You're seeing that number creep up a little bit. It's working, at least to some extent, I think, for those who want Destiny to be a hobby again. To me, at least, I think that's a perception I'm getting. Because I'm still seeing people playing. My friends list is still lighting up. 5 o'clock in the morning, there's still 7, 8 people on my friends list, which for the last 6 months, there's been maybe 1 guy, and that's it, that early in the morning. So there's still people wanting to play the game. So I think it's still kind of on the path. But let's move on here, guys, to the news, because there is some of this kind of what we're talking about. We're kind of bleeding into some of the news. So let's get into to our news segment that we call Dispatches from the Traveler. All right. Well, in the update this week, they first brought up the fact that, I think we mentioned this. Did we get to this last week? I think we did. Clan Redeem got the title of World First. So they are the official
We kind of did and we didn't. I mean, we said...
Spire of the Stars, they are the world first at this. Other teams, it says, have completed multiple waves of Escalation Protocol, which is awesome. People just getting the 7 waves. I mean, Sean, what was the process for you guys to get 7 in there? I think you said Bife did it with you, Unknown Player. I mean, how long did it take you to get
it started off with me and my friends, right? People were ragging me on the comment section like, dude, you just do it with streamers. You got streamer friends. No. It was me and my friends. And then we had people bail, and because I was playing with the Cryptarch on Twitter, he's good friends with Bife, more console, Unknown Player. So then he brought in Bife and Unknown Player when we had people bail on us because it was too late. You know what I mean? So everyone come correct with, look, it wasn't because I have streamer friends that we were able to do it. No, it's just we got a bunch of our friends together, and what you have to do is you have to bring in blueberries that are out there, get them into party chat.
Right.
Let them take over your fire team. But in some cases, we just joined in them. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, you want to do an escalation protocol? Like, they were 370. So we're like, all right, let's do it. And then we became friends with them, and then they played with us all day. But you basically have to get you and your people in some sort of party chat. We'll say PS4 party chat. I don't know how it works on Xbox. And then from there, each one of you has to be on the server, and then you can invite 2 other people to each one of you. So it's basically 5 teams of 3. That's when you can get 9 people. But you have to go in there, find a random, and ask them nicely out. And every person we've invited to chat has been totally cool with it. Because it was someone like playing a story. It was like 345. And we were like, listen, could we just borrow your fire team? Can one of us join you? Then you make them lead, and then you go on and, do your story. And stuff. Yeah, sure, why not? You know what I mean?
That's cool.
So, I've never ran into that one person who was like, no, I can't do that,
Something that I wanted to point out about the Redeem that was the world's first. Did you guys read these stats? So the stats for the world's first on Spire of the Stars was it took them 394 minutes, which is 6 hours and 56 minutes, by the way. They had 11,864 kills and 598 death.
Wow.
That's a serious friggin' commitment right there. 7 hours, dude. And 598 deaths? You kidding me? After like 50 deaths, we're like, this sucks! That's so awesome, man. I mean, they committed to it and got it done. Congrats to them. Let me tell you, that's a hell of an accomplishment to get through there at that level and go through there. So good for them. I mean,
I think that was it, right? They were somewhat under leveled at that point. So to pull it off, man, I mean, that's insane, man. But let's see. So, of course, congrats to them. Now, Bungie did also put out a roadmap, and there's some interesting things in this roadmap. I'm going to pop it up here on the screen right now for everybody over in the chat. But let's take through some of this. So in terms of what is coming next, this kind of threw everybody for a loop. I'm going to jump right into it, man. Crucible Labs. We don't really know much of what this is, other than it is going to be what people have been kind of asking for, a PTR of some extent.
Yeah, playtest? What is it? Playtest something?
Playtest Realm is what it usually is for an MMO.
Dude, this is huge.
Now, do we know, is it going to be PC only, or is it going to be on consoles?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's the question, because
they have not said that just
most
yet.
PTRs are PC only. Now,
PC based.
Like right now, PUBG has a special version of their game server running on the Xbox, on Xbox One. But games like, I'm thinking of the MMOs that are on there, Elder Scrolls Online, even Overwatch. All of that is on PC. None of that is on the console, and that part of that could just be the console holders not allowing them to do that. But I think it'd be cool, man, if they put it out on the consoles and said, hey, here's a playlist. When you go in, it's going to be crazy. Don't expect for balance. Don't expect for, anything to be playing out like you're used to, and just have it be this crazy mayhem space. That would be awesome, right? I think that would be so cool.
Because it's rather than them eliciting feedback based on tweets or based on Reddit threads or based on XYZ, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, here's a let's say it's a specific game mode with now XYZ weapons have a buff of this and XYZ weapons have a nerf of this or ability changes. Go in, test it out. So not only can they get our feedback, verbally and also written, but then in their analytics, they can see, okay, which archetype had the fastest time to kill? What was everyone gravitating towards with this type of meta for this playlist?
Right.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a huge home run for making PvP what everyone wants it to be, which I don't think any multiplayer experience will ever be perfect because everyone will complain about something. But
because everybody has a different play style. If
exactly.
If everybody was a sniper, then we would all agree, but we're not.
But if they could just get it to a point where, they're soliciting feedback and they have on their end analytics they can look at to make some, really tough decisions rather than just going on people on Twitter with, I feel this is too strong or I feel this is too weak. Here we have the data. This shows us, okay, everyone's using this. All right, that thing, maybe we need to bring things up to that XYZ weapon that everyone's doing, kind of like how they're doing with Vigilance Wing and how the Vigilance Wing has competition now,
Yep. I agree.
Now, in the chat, they said it's for everyone. So hopefully it'll just be a separate little playlist off to the side. I think that
it should be. I mean, they should do it that way because what are they going to not take feedback from people from Xbox? I mean, that's dumb. So it seemed like that they would do it on each platform.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yep. I mean, plus too, I think it would be different on each platform almost. Just kind of the way things play out in terms of keyboard and mouse and the controller.
Yep.
But yeah, so Time Splitter's saying it beneath it says, or above it, he says that it does say that it is for everyone. But very cool. I think it's a great move that they're doing for sure. Faction Rally improvements as well coming on May 29th. So I'm interested to hear what that's going to be about. Obviously, we got to get through Iron Banner this week.
I meant to ask you guys this. Factions have kind of gone just to the wayside. Like, I don't ever go to Iraq Jalal I never go to my faction leader.
Well, you don't need to.
You guys,
unless it's only during
that's
faction rallies, man. That's it.
Right. Like it used to be a daily thing. Like you're doing your bounties and your stuff.
Yeah, they had like bounties towards them.
I understand,
right?
but I mean, it's like
it's
a bummer because it was a huge part of Destiny 1 and it was a big part of Destiny 1. So it's like I really want that to be something again. You know what I mean?
If we had random rolls, faction rallies would matter more, right? Because think about it. You have a choice of weapons you can get from each faction rally. If they had a choice by turning in engrams that particular pulse rifle or that particular hand cannon can roll with something, I would be grinding the hell out of faction rallies, all faction rally.
But even the ships, I was there was in it for the ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Future War Cult was my favorite in D1, and everyone's tired of hearing about it. But my
dude, they just made the factions now like an event. It's not like something you go to. It's just literally just that monthly event or whatever. It's every 5-6 weeks.
Right.
And, hopefully they'll add a little bit more to it. I mean, I think that it has the potential. I was actually my daughter now. We just finished the campaign, the vanilla campaign this past week, which is awesome. Me playing through it with her, literally the last 2 missions, she maybe had 1 kill. And the best part was I'm using the graviton the whole time. So it was just like, when you go in the one room where all of Callus's dogs are all sitting there, she's all nervous. She's like, oh, what do I do? I go, hold on a second.
Just hang on. Let me one-shot this one dog to kill 6 of them.
Everything's just exploding all over. It was the greatest thing ever. But when I'm telling her about the faction rallies, and she just thought that was the coolest thing. I'm like, the tower gets all dressed up with the faction stuff, and she just thought that was so neat. That was going to be happening.
I like that it's an event, but they need to do something as more of a carrot, I feel like, for us to chase. Because once you do it, I mean, you get the weapons, you get the armor sets. I'm over the whole ornaments thing. I like ornaments. I like the way my character looks and all, but at the same time, I want weapons. There was nothing more fun than getting that drop and being like, all right, I want to go show my friends this, or I want to go into the Cosmodrome and test it out, or go into the Crucible and test it out. So I feel like faction rallies would be more interesting if they had some sort of randomization aspect to it that anything could drop because it would keep you playing more and more,
Yep. I mean, Sean, that was the reason, many of us this past week or the last 2 weeks have spent chasing around the little sleeper nodes and all of that. We're just chasing that loot just to kind of
even
pull out. Every once in a while we want the loot. That's it.
Even if it was a fixed roll, but then it had as something that if you got the specific one from your faction, you were able to add another modifier to it or something to make it different.
Yeah.
It would be a good, anything they can do. I mean, we're going to talk about the roadmap, and there's the thing on there that says weapon randomization, not till September. That's coming, but that's a little while down the road.
I almost wonder if it would be cool if they made it where, like, if you pledge so many times to a faction or to put in so much work, you could make their weapon a masterwork, like a faction masterwork weapon, and so it would prove that you've committed yourself to Dead Orbit. Sure, you got the rifle, and maybe you had 3 separate characters, but you really put in the work in Dead Orbit for that specific weapon on that specific character, and like that character has been dedicated. So it makes it different. Not just an ornament, you get that extra little perk spot that does whatever it is. I think that would be cool, because then it really is you pledging your allegiance to that faction.
I agree.
Let's see what else. We have exotic armor sandbox changes coming. I'm interested in what these are going to be, because this is something that people have been just clamoring for a long time, that there's nothing special about armor. You know?
Well,
I mean, outside of the raid armor, that's it. There's nothing else really now. Sure, you got some little perks on some exotic, but it's just not making enough of an impact.
Right. As well as they've done with the weapons, you would think that, I mean, as smart as they are, and as much feedback as they've gotten, there's got to be something. So I mean, because they've done an amazing job with the exotic weapons. I mean, it's just been fabulous. It's been the best. I think it's been the best change in D2 so far. Overall, has been the exotic changes to weapons. Yeah. So I hope that this is really, really good. I really do.
Sean, any insight into what could be coming? Do you think
for faction rallies?
No. For the exotic
armor sandbox.
Changes. Just make them more powerful. I mean, because when I look at my character, for my Titan, I'm either rocking Dune Marchers or Hollowfire Heart, or what else?
So pissed I don't have my.
Iron Rampant.
Armamentarian. God, I'm so pissed, dude.
For Hunter, it's always going to be Orpheus Rig. I love the Frosties for PvP. The Frosties are so good in PvP. But I feel like right now, just I'm looking at my list right here, there's not that many that are that great that I want to use outside of my crutches, so to speak. Like my Warlock, I'm always using either Ophidian Aspect or the
That's
Vesper
OP as hell, by the way. Can I just say?
What, just because you can reload faster? What?
No. The one that you can see through walls and.
Oh yeah. The Sanguine. It's not Alchemy.
Even okay. It's not even okay.
That's been a big discussion this week. I noticed amongst the kind of the competitive community, man, is all about that, and how you can see through the walls and how it's affecting.
Are they really used? Because I got them last week, and then someone asked me, "You going to do a video on it?" And I was like, the perk doesn't look interesting. And then the guy that made them from Vicarious Visions responded and said, you might want to try them in PvP. And I went into Quick Play, and the video I made was hysterical because you see me on Endless Veil, I pop the rift down, and within 30 meters, they're all tracked. You know what I mean? And I'm just waiting for them to come around the corner.
Even if there's no radar.
Even if there's no radar. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's why.
So competitive, that's like ridiculous.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. People in trials and all that, like that was the discussion this week that I saw on Reddit, like constantly, of people just saying, this is terrible, blah, blah. And it's like, well, that's the perk of that armor. I mean,
but there's got to at least then be some sort of a counter to it. So then give Titans and Hunters something that they put on an exotic and it doesn't allow you to be tracked.
It blocks
or something.
Something.
But it's literally not fair.
Yep. I don't know. It's the meta, man. Play Warlock.
I'm a Warlock main, so
I'm saying. Play Warlock. I mean, that's kind of what it is, right?
I'm keeping my mouth shut, man. Because not only is it for you, if your allies stand in the rift, they get the same thing.
I know. It's ridiculous.
But you only need one person to sit there and just call out. We got 2 guys coming right. All right, he's coming through the door now. Boom. You know what I mean?
Let's see what else we got on the roadmap. This is coming in July. We are having the Solstice of Heroes seasonal event, which is kind of interesting. Something we've never heard of before. So I was thinking we were going to get the old Sparrow racing. But
well, I'd have to look when Summer Solstice. That's obviously what that's talking about.
Exactly.
Solstice of Heroes, I don't know. So I don't know. Is that going to be racing? I don't know.
I don't think so, man. I think it's going to be.
I don't think it's about racing.
Like a dawning
I don't think so either.
Where the tower's going to be just beautiful and gorgeous.
I think so too. Right.
All kinds of cool things.
Yep.
Sean, Bounties coming in July, man.
Thank God they're coming back, man. Because the feedback I gave it to someone was like, there was just something tangible about going to the tower and collecting something and saying, all right, I need to go do 10 Vex Minotaurs, or I need to kill Hive Major Ultra Knights, or get X amount of arc kills. And you'd go to a different destination or a part of a destination to get something done. Whereas when you log into the daily challenges for each destination, they're there with a task, but usually they're really easy. It's like, do one public event, find 10 data lattice, whatever they call them, lattice. What am I calling? Or yeah, kill something else. Whatever. They're very simple. Whereas like something cool, like you want to do something for the day. Let me go do something. But my question is, what's going to be the reward for doing the bounties? You know what I mean? If it's just tokens, is that enough of a reward to get us to do the bounties? Because I like doing them. I mean, like when we had the Age of Triumph record book, which we see records on September, but you know, like I wasn't getting anything out of them, but just the completionist in me would see everything on each character. Remember, I forgot how many pages. It was a lot of pages, but I wanted to have everything done, even though it was just like an emblem or a shader or something. Right. Records kept me going. So if they could provide some more carrots besides tokens, maybe a special emblem or something, maybe some ornaments or something. But weapons, I'm always going to say, give us weapons. Give us more weapons. Yep. You know.
Agreed. Yep.
The prestige versions of the raid layers are going to be coming out. Which actually weren't these originally. Like we weren't really sure, so I think they're telling us July now that these are coming. So I think that's great.
Yeah. Argos Prestige is coming. It was off the roadmap for a little bit, and then they brought it back.
I think they're back on there, coming in July, which is great. So they must have figured out what they want to do with it. PC Clan text chat. So I think for those on the PC, that's cool.
That's pretty typical.
Year 1 triumphs. So we are going to have triumphs returning, which is cool. Very neat for those of you that maybe have never been around for Destiny. Those maybe new PC players. This is where basically you go in there. And it just gives you a checklist of like, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? You get a cool emblem in game. And then I wonder if they're going to do the t-shirt again. That's something they've always done where you then go to Bungie.net, you put in a little code.
$777,000.
Unless you put it, unless you finish it. Put in your code, you put your gamer tag on the shirt, and they literally will mail you a shirt for, $20 or whatever it was. Yeah. And you can show that you accomplished all the triumphs. So they're doing that again. And then even more exotic armor sandbox changes. So clearly the team over there, they're really looking at...
They've got some plans on armor,
Yeah, they're trying to figure it all out. Yeah. And then September, this is, year 2, season 1. We're going to have gear collections, which is kind of cool.
That's interesting.
Yep, records. So, we've kind of like year 1, the triumphs always were based on a record book, so some records there. Weapon slot changes, as well as weapon randomization.
Changes? What does that mean?
So there's some interesting.
Are we going back to primary and heavy and secondary? Like, what is that all about? I think you
can talk amongst yourself on that one, Caleb. Sean and I are going to be over here in the corner. We're just going to be chill. Go ahead, speculate. Go ahead, feel free.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Speculate all you want, Caleb. Sean and I have no clue what it is.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what they do with that. New gameplay modes. Let's say modes.
Plural.
Now, we did say Sean and I went to the summit. We got to play a new game mode, and we talked a little bit about that. You can go back and listen to our episode after the summit. Our impressions is all we could really say. We really, really enjoyed that mode. I assumed there was going to be more things coming. I didn't know how many new modes there would be, but personally seeing modes, that's freaking awesome. I'll put it that way. So if there
are we speculating at this point, is the September season, season 1, year 2, is it going to be a paid expansion like the Taken King was?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes. I'm already seeing a lot of backlash from people saying it needs to be free because Curse of Osiris was this and this and that. Look, guys, it's a business at the end of the day.
2020.
It's going to be a paid expansion, probably just like the Taken King, in my opinion. You know?
I agree.
It definitely will be. Yep. That's just the way they've done it every time.
As soon as you start a new season like that, year 2, season 1, and if you think back to when you bought D2, when we did, and we bought the whatever version where we got all the expansions that are coming, we just got the final expansion that we paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're more than likely going to roll it out, just like you said. They'll have a Game of the Year edition or something where it'll be Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris, Warmind, and whatever it's going to be called. And then they'll probably have some sort of a booster in there that will, bump you up in power so you can get to the
question that I have is, do we see any of this at E3?
I don't know.
I would think so. I would think so.
We'll see what happens. I'll be reporting back from E3 if we do see it.
Nice. Confirmed.
One or two of those new game modes, or a little sneak preview of some stuff coming. That would get some hype train going.
Yes,
and
I think they
the
need to do
masters
that.
of the hype train.
Yep. They definitely need to be showing that in a few weeks. E3 is only a few weeks away.
That's right.
So my question is this, though, guys. When the third expansion hits and season 1 of year 2 starts, would you guys be comfortable if all of our old stuff can't be infused? It's gone.
Wait, say that again.
They kind of did that, right? Didn't they do that with Taken King?
Remember we did that like with the Taken King? All your old stuff from year 1, you couldn't infuse it. It was gone. It was dead and this and that. Would you guys all be comfortable with that? With Nameless Midnight or our favorite weapons, Better Devils?
Oh.
They're gone now because now there's weapon randomization. There's weapon slot change, expansion. You can't infuse any of the old stuff. It's gone. What do you think?
I don't know. Only if they're going to replace it with a bazillion guns.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're going to replace it with the equal amount of guns that we have now, but now do I have to go collect all new? I mean, I don't know, man. That's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough question.
I want to start from scratch, like, to be frank. You know what I mean? Like, my hopes is that the mod system moves away and they go back. I've been very vocal about this. I want random rolls to come back. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that. But I hope they move away from the mod system, they go to random rolls, and then we start fresh. You know what I mean? Start all over again. This new expansion.
I don't know, Sean. I mean, that's one of the things that they've tried to steer us away from, was just holding on to that same little gun that's your baby, and you just carry it forward, because you want to play with the new stuff. That's what they want. But in the same sense, I think if you just told players like, hey, all that stuff you've just spent a year gathering, like, throw it out the window. Like, I just went and just did everything I needed to do to get the sleeper. And now, 5 months later, you're going to say, nope, leave that behind. You can't have it anymore. Like, no, wait a minute. Like, I just spent all that time doing that. Like, that would kind of suck.
So bring exotics forward.
Yeah, they could do that, I guess.
All the legendaries, you can't infuse them anymore.
I don't know, but those fixed rolls aren't the problem. They're not a meta problem. Fixed rolls aren't a meta problem. You're going to be searching for new versions of that same gun. For them to bring forward the ones that you already have, I don't think that's going to be an issue, because you're not going to be. That's not what you're going to be chasing. You're going to be chasing the god roll of the whatever Nameless Midnight or whatever gun that you want. It's not the one you have now.
Right. But my question is, would you be cool with that if they took all of our old stuff and was like, that's year 1, now is year 2. This is the new power level. This is the new infusion rules or whatever this and that. So your old stuff, you got to dismantle it.
I'll tell you what I wish, and this has been all D2. I wish that we went back to where we can infuse any armor into any armor and any gun into any gun, because I don't ever use grenade launchers, and I rarely use fusions, and I, without fail, get grenade launchers and fusions out my ass. And I just got the highest level gun that I have as a grenade launcher, and I'm like, really, Rahul? Like, I want to kick that guy in the nuts again. And he was like pretty cool there for a little bit. Now he's back to being a jerk. So, I really wish it was to where, and which is going to also help. And one of the reasons they're not doing that is because they've slowed progression, and that's going to speed progression up if I was able to do that. Right. But without fail, I get grenade launchers and fusions just up and down the board. It's ridiculous. So that's kind of where I would really love to be able to infuse any gun into any gun. Yeah. That's a pain in the butt.
Really. You know what, Sean? Speed up. I was going to say, I might be okay, man. I might be all right if they did take some of our stuff away, or not really take it away, but just not let you bring it forward. And especially this is coming from just now in the last few months, leveling up my Warlock and my Hunter, now leveling a character on PC. Now this past 2 weeks going back and not only finishing my Titan, but now getting my Warlock and my Hunter back up. It's fun, and I remember saying it on the show many times. When you go back and start a new character, it's kind of fun that they force you. You're almost forced into using weapons you wouldn't normally use as you're leveling up. Because really all that matters at that point is I just need to be as strong as I can. Suddenly now I have to use a sidearm. Suddenly I need to use that grenade launcher because that's my most powerful power weapon. I'm sure with whatever maybe comes in the fall, whatever we play with that, it's going to start that way again. You're going to go through the campaign or whatever it is, and you're going to be just chasing that level grind again. I mean, that kind of happened with Warmind, maybe not so much on the level as it does when you play vanilla Destiny, because at that, we still had some decent exotics, and the exotics were just so overpowered right now. But when Destiny 2 comes out, it would force you to do that if they did say, hey, you can use those weapons, but those weapons are 20 levels, or will make you 20 levels underpowered for this campaign mission. you're not going to even want to use those in the first place. And what we're going to be giving you is going to be better than any of that stuff anyways. Like that, I think that's the tricky thing is they need to, if they're going to make us leave it behind, they need to have the stuff that we're finding be more interesting than that stuff. And that's the hurdle, right? That's the problem that they have. I think all the work they've put into the exotics, they can't leave the exotics behind. We have to be able to bring those forward.
I was just thinking just legendary stuff, if they truly bring back random rolls or something like that. You know, like I'll still keep stuff. You know, like I remember I still kept my original Shadow Price and Vanquisher and other weapons. You know, from year one of Destiny 1. Some weapons just for PvP purposes. You know what I mean? Like let's say there was, I couldn't bring Better Devil Sword, and I love Better Devils. You know, I'd still keep one in my vault for PvP purposes. You know, but just for random things like that. But I don't know. We'll see how.
That's the reason that I'm always out of vault space is because, well, at least I used to. And now I'm going to start getting into that again because now the metas are changing again. Yeah. And it was only because the metas would change. So I would never use hand cannons. I was always using auto rifles. The next thing you know, it became a hand cannon meta. And then we're all chasing that God roll IS Luna. You know, it's just like it was one of those deals. But that was a fun part of the game.
It kept you playing.
The meta. Right. Yeah. It changed the meta. Now what do I need to do? You know, and so I think that's a good thing, you know?
Yep. Let's move on here, guys, to away from the roadmap and to kind of what was the big thing coming out of the TWAB this week, and that is that power is changing, or the progression is changing. And I want to read some of this because it's kind of interesting, kind of what they mentioned. They said the feedback never stops. From the moment Warmind landed, we've had our eyes on the chatter surrounding all aspects of Destiny 2. Our trending topic is how players reach appropriate power levels for endgame content. I mean, hell, we spent 10 to 15 minutes on it just last week alone. Senior investment designer Daniel Ahamkara, he says, Warmind is out. We're super excited. This is in your hands now. We're able to get a bunch of excellent input on what we did well and what we still need to work on. And one of those I'd like to talk about is progression. So here's what they're going to be changing. Heroic strikes, he says, are a great example of something we definitely want to keep iterating on. So in the May 29th update, which we saw on the roadmap, we're going to start to see a small change to help make progression better. So Escalation Protocol key fragments will become 100% drop chance from each heroic strike, which is awesome. He says the reason for that is to make getting these fragments more accessible while preserving the need to play non-open world content to get those. So they're forcing you to leave the open world and go into those heroic strikes. If you need one now, go play those heroics. And this is the big one. Heroic strikes will be able to drop better rewards. Every 3 to 5 heroic strikes will drop a legendary that can carry you up to 360 before mods.
Right.
So this should better align the rewards of the heroic strikes with the difficulty of each activity and help solo players have a more reliable source of upgrades.
Now, this is what we were talking about last week, and Mark and I were both on this bandwagon. And while, yes, this is 3 weeks too late, but it goes to show that they listen because we bitched about it. Mark and I have been on this bandwagon. The community, Reddit, Twitter, everybody's been all over this. And heroic strikes, as much of a biznitch as they are to do, this should have been in there the whole way. Because and not only that, it's not given to you every time. It says every 3 to 5.
That's like, so you still got basically like a 25% chance.
You still got to grind the hell out of them. You know, this is what I wanted on May 9th when it dropped. To grind the hell out of that stuff to level up instead of the way that we did it. But they listened. Okay. Hi, hindsight's 2020.
Honestly, dude, I'm almost surprised it's 360 before mods. I mean, I thought it would have been like 355 and modded up to 360. Because at that point, then you can get at least be somewhat manageable in Escalation Protocol, at least the first few levels, which could then bring you up. But hell, they're doing a 360, so you can get up to 365 and, you know, go out there, grind those heroics. Now, what I was talking about last week, for those that maybe didn't agree with me so much, was, and why I kept saying it was a misstep, was kind of like what Caleb just alluded to. He just said, you know, it might be a little too late. And the reason I say that was right after we got off the air last week, I went and played with Khalif Adams, or Ka. He's the co-host Spawn on Me. He's mine and Caleb's former co-host of Paragon Radio. Good buddy. I get in there, I'm playing with Ka, and he's like, man, what are you thinking? And I'm, you know, telling him kind of what we've been talking about and how I'm really enjoying it and everything. And he said, well, man, he goes, you know, for me, he's like, I'm just kind of stuck. He's like, you know, he's a guy who on his show plays multiple games. So he's not really a true hardcore Destiny hobbyist, if you want to say. But he likes to dabble in the game, and he wanted to come and see what was there. But he said, he goes, for me, he goes, you know, I can't get past my milestones. I I just, all the people I would raid with, I can't really get to raid. There's no way in hell I can do this escalation protocol. And he called it, and it's kind of funny the way he said it, but he's like, I have no interest in chasing the Easter eggs that they put in it. And what he meant by that was going for Sleeper, going for the Sparrow and the World Line, the sword. And I was like, yeah, man, I get that. And he's like, I just wish there was a way for me to just go do the heroic strikes and do it. Right. And so he's one of the guys that it made me think he was one of the people I was talking about. Like, now he is going to go away, and is he going to come back in 2 weeks? I don't know. He may not. And so that kind of sucks. So I'm hoping May 29th, it's not that far away. It's like a week and a half far away. I would say if you are somebody listening to the show and you had some friends who came back and maybe felt frustrated at this, make sure they're aware that it's changing on the 29th. And if they want to come back, tell them the heroic strikes are going to change, or you and them can go in there, grind that out, level up to where you can play the new stuff, play the escalation protocol. Because I think, unfortunately, it coming then does kind of suck, and I think they're going to lose some people in that process. So make sure anybody who maybe jumped on that first week, tell them it's changing, because this is how it should have been in the first place, and I'm glad they're changing it, man. Because I think it's going to totally make a difference.
Did you check before the show how many people have gotten through the raid layer, Mark?
I think that website we were using stopped after 3 days. So it was just the initial chase. So it was the first 3 days. It was only like 162, and then it stopped tracking on that.
Okay.
So
I was just curious because that's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get to level. I mean, I'm 355. Yeah. But I've been busy this week and haven't got to play a lot. But I've done everything. I've done all my milestones for 2 weeks.
That was from the raid too, right?
Did a raid last week.
I didn't even do the raid
last week. Did all that, and it's it's a powering up is rough, and we're gonna read it here in a minute, but they specifically have talked about the wall that's in front of people, and it's hard.
But it's cool they've acknowledged it, and hearing, Sean, you said it. I even noticed it last week. We're starting to see more and more people bleed into escalation protocol. Yeah. Once this drops, there's going to be that many more jumping in there. I mean, I've only dabbled in those first. I mean, we made it to the 3rd level when we went to the summit. I haven't even been there yet now with Warmind being out. But hearing you talk about it, Sean, watching some videos, and I even watched a little bit of your stream, seeing 9 people in that space, it just looks like it is a ton of fun. And so I think once people get to experience it, it's going to become something that people definitely are going to grind for, because you want to get to that, just experience it and have fun kind of jumping into it. So what do you think of the changes, Sean? You think it's a good change or what?
I think they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, man. If they make the grind easier, we'll complain. All we did was nonstop complain at the beginning of D2 and the beginning of Curse of Osiris was that they were max power level within a week or days, whatever it's that. So now that it's drawn out, so even someone that grinds a ton, it's still going to take them some time. And then if someone that plays casually, it's really going to take them a long time. They even said, early on that for someone that plays casually, you might wait until September until you hit 380. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think their goal is to keep people coming back. And if they're enjoying themselves, if they're making progression. If they finish their milestones and there's still other things to work on, like for me, it's the catalyst. I love working on those. I like it. I think it's a good thing. I think even some people who grind too much, I think are already 385 right now. On Twitter.
I mean, there's so few people that's the case for. I mean, the majority of people they get in there, and I mean, I would seriously consider us hardcores, and it's one of those, you have to have the time to grind, and not many people actually do have the time to grind like that. And then for the people that would like to maybe grind a little bit, do they just get frustrated and say to hell with it? That's the fear that I have.
Well, I will say what's cool now is this change still makes it a grind. For me, the most fun I've really been having outside of chasing those Easter eggs, I've loved doing that. To me, that was fantastic, having the fragments and all that. I've had a lot of fun doing that. But it has been the heroic strikes, because those modifiers on there have made them hard as nails. Your teammates matter. What you have equipped matters. It's been a lot of fun. But even still, each one of these, each run on these, so 3 to 5 will drop a legendary item that can carry you up to 360. So let's say you're stuck at, like right now, I'm at 354. I'm still going to have to grind a crap ton of heroics to get enough. Because, that's one legendary. Let's say it's every 5. That's one every 5. That doesn't get me up to 360.
Right.
That gets me up to...
I should have made a video on this, but the easiest way is, guys, a a big thing that got me between 350 to 360 was cashing in all of my destination tokens. Failsafe, Devrim K,
Yes.
Ashamir.
Yep.
Devrim K especially because I had like 2,000 EDZ tokens or something like that. The destinations will give you loot based on your soft cap. So when you complete your milestones and you get to a new one, run to those destinations, if you have the tokens, of course, and cash some of them in and see what your new soft cap is. You know what I mean?
That's the other thing, too. While you're running around any planet, whatever you're on, pick up those little nodes, those little whatever it is on whatever planet all the time. When I'm running around Mars and I see... Absolutely, I'll just pick them up, and then I just randomly, I'll always, as I'm running by one, I'll go pick one up, as if it was, back in the old days when we had to get materials, right? If I see one, I'll grab it every single time, because then you're not paying attention. Next thing you know, you get 100 of them.
Yeah. Well, that and also those daily challenges are so easy, and they net you so many tokens for that destination. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm always saving my destination. Because like when we were in our downtime, where I was getting the most hate during December and January for still liking and covering this game, I was doing the daily destination challenges every day. So I ended up with thousands of tokens. So it made it a lot easier for me to get up to 372 where I am right now.
Right.
Because of the fact that I had so many tokens. When I'd reach a new soft cap, I would go to all the destinations, cash a few in, see if I can get armor. So, see if I can get lucky with that stuff,
Yep.
Let's see a couple other things. Well, they mentioned, of course, the brick wall of the soft progression. So again, hopefully that can kind of fix all of that for everyone. But let's talk some PvP ranking, because this is kind of an issue. Everybody's chasing the glory and wanting their weapons. But it says, why would I match against a player with a higher glory rank than me? And Derek Carroll says, for a variety of reasons, we don't match directly on your glory number, instead using our per playlist skill value. So he says, quite likely your opponent is a good match against you, but they've been grinding glory more consistently, so have moved up the ranks faster. So don't necessarily look at that. I guess it's more literally on the skill. Says, why can I match against pre-formed fire teams when I'm searching as a solo player? And Derek says, after a bit of server-side tuning and investigation, we re-enabled the Crucial Fire Team matchmaking feature yesterday. This does not directly reduce the chances of matching against pre-made fire teams, but does tweak the skill values of those fire teams to make it more likely they find evenly matched opponents.
Yeah, and a little bit on that first one. So what they're kind of saying there is, in the competitive one, yeah, that may be a little bit of a difference in skill, because if somebody that gets really high in the competitive side, their skill ranking is probably pretty high with the internal Bungie stuff. But as far as the quick play side, that just means they put more time in. It doesn't necessarily mean they're better than you. So don't look at what their rank value is and think, oh, well, I'm getting outmatched. It's not necessarily the case. They just put more time in as you. That's what they're saying there. Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Why won't you make a solo queue only playlist? And Derek says, we don't want to do that because it would split the population in an unhealthy way, making it less likely for everyone to find good matches. Furthermore, that would probably mean splitting the glory rank into solo glory and team glory, and we much rather have just one single number. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
And it says, why would you place me in a game in progress that you know I'm going to lose and end my streak? And he says, there's no join in progress and competitive, so this can't happen for glory. However, we are working on a fix for Valor and the other playlist, so you won't lose your Valor streak that way. So
yeah, I think they got to come up with something on Valor, because that's definitely something that you pop in there and you get thrown into a match and you're 2-on-4 and you're hosed right there. There's either got to be you can back out, or and not get penalized, or something. They got to be able to do something to where, if you get in there and there's a certain score, maybe it's a discrepancy or maybe it's a player discrepancy or whatever, that match doesn't count against a streak. Yeah. They got to figure something out, because that's definitely a problem. But hey, they're listening and they're working on it.
That's right. They're working on it. Definitely. Right. Constantly a work in progress. Welcome to the world of being a Destiny player.
Right.
And of course, tomorrow Iron Banner is returning, so Saladin is returning in the tower. Unfortunately, I forgot to put the picture up in the chat or in the stream,
but sick.
Looks ridiculous. Oh my god! Right. I mean, the stuff is just awesome. Like these are pieces I don't think I want a shader on. Like a lot of the pieces I would still put my shader on. This just looks, it looks awesome.
The silver looks good. It does.
Very, very good. Now, do we know? Here's a question: do we know Iron Banner is it still considered an end game?
I don't think so. I think it's
because power doesn't matter.
at your
Right.
soft cap.
But yeah, true. Because the reason I was going to say is then when we rank up, is that going to be powerful gear that we're going to get?
I don't think so.
Probably not. No.
Okay.
They do have the seasonal reputation on the image that they show there. So I saved a couple of 100 Iron Banner tokens from the last 2 Iron Banners because I didn't like anything he had. So you literally, just like I did with Zavala, because I got to rank 50 to get that exotic ship from Zavala by just cashing in those Vanguard tokens. You could do the same thing with Iron Banner if you saved your tokens. But yeah, the more you play, the more tokens you turn in, and you can basically get all the weapons, I think. Not all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Which
yeah, I think all the weapons
pretty sweet too.
Yeah, there's a ship, there's an emblem, there's gear, there's ornaments, everything. Just by cashing it in, because on the image they show it's a seasonal reputation 35. So I guess this will be a continuing theme throughout the season, is that the more tokens you cash in for, it's probably going to be that character, not the account. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to get seasonal reputation.
It's going to be interesting to see how many people you run up against that have Redrix, because you've had to grind like a son of a gun and be pretty good at competitive to have that. There's not a lot of people that have it. It's going to be really interesting. I'll tell you this. If you're in a fire team and you come up with somebody who's got Redrix, you better get your team shot on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Iron Banner also, just to clarify, I think is not counting at all towards glory or valor.
It's not. No.
No, but they're still going to waste your ass if they have Redrix, is the point that I'm making. I mean,
well, the thing is, I play far away with Graviton or Scout Rifles. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't get close to people that they can hose me down with that thing.
Sean, I've still been using my Vigilance. Like, I went to the Graviton, and Graviton, it's good if you can get some guys grouped up. Which, if they're trying to team shot, it's great because it's a great counter to that. But other than that, like the Vigilance still just melts. Like
you know what?
I can't put it down in PvP, man.
I always say that it was the same thing with Destiny 1. Some nights in PvP, I'm really good with hand cannons. Some nights I'm terrible with scout rifles. That same night, I could be amazing with pulse rifles, terrible with hand cannons. So I go through the same thing. Some nights my Graviton shot is on, and I'm 3 bursting people easily.
Yep.
Then there's other nights where I can't hit anything, whatever. So then I'll go back to Vigilance Wing because it's more forgiving. Because you land 3 bursts and get some of the body, and it kicks right up with the vertical recoil. You waste people with 3 bursts. So it's a great gun.
One final piece of news here, and this actually isn't necessarily related to the game so much, but last week we talked about the ARG that they had, where people went and kind of solved the little puzzle and found in real life where you could go to the mountain up in upstate New York, right outside Lake George, and find the real Valkyrie. And someone went up there and they actually have the Valkyrie. I saw a picture of it mounted in their house now. But Vicarious Visions also left a bag of coins for people to get. And I mentioned on the show, like, man, we would love to get one of these coins. I have a buddy actually who lives up there because I'm actually where I'm from originally. And I was trying to get him to go. He wouldn't. Well, one of our listeners, and we've actually had him as a caller here on the show, the Wrecker, messaged me and said, dude, I'm taking tomorrow off from work. I talked to my boss. I'm going. So he went all the way up there, him and his buddy, and I might even met his brother. They went all the way up there to find those coins. And he came back reporting that the Rangers, the park rangers, have actually took the coins in the book and sent them back to Activision and to Bungie.
Why would they do something? That's
saying
so
they
lame,
didn't
man.
have a permit to leave it there. So technically, it's like littering, right? You're littering in a public park, I guess. It's kind of like what they did.
Stupid.
So for those of you out there who live in upstate New York or were thinking about taking the trek to go get those coins, don't bother. They're no longer
gone.
So.
What was the bear, the cartoon bear that used to always mess with the park ranger?
Yogi.
I hope he goes F's them up, man. Come on, Yogi.
But thank you, the Wrecker. We appreciate it, man, for your commitment of taking a day off of work and trying to get us one of those coins. Because our plan was to auction that off at Guardian Con. But, unfortunately, it isn't going to pan out. So, whatever.
If anybody does,
very cool they did
and you want to help out the charity event that we do at G-Con, let us know. We'll be happy we will auction that off and make sure that you get all the credit. If anybody gets one of those, let us know. That'd be awesome.
Definitely. All right, let's move on here to our clan spotlight, the part of the show where we give you a clan. Right now, it's more important, or pretty much very important than ever, to have a clan in the game to level up. The progression has been slowed. You need to be running raids. You need to be doing trials. You need to be doing all those good things. So, K-Dub, who do you got for us this week, man?
Yeah, so last week I did a PS4 clan, and this week we will do an Xbox One clan. And we have Alpha 001 Company. And it says our clan basically started through the 100IO, who we had on the show, a little while back. We were all solo players joining LFG raids, etc., and kept coming across each other regularly. Over time, we became friends and formed our own 100.io group. Eventually, we decided to make an official Destiny clan because D2 seemed more clan-focused. We enjoy making new friends, helping people through endgame content, and we want our clan to become a great little community where you can come just to hang out after a hard day's work or a rubbish day. Just figure out who said that. That's probably somebody from the UK, so listen up. We use Discord for communication, so sometimes it's just a random chat about life or the day you've had. Sadly, in December of last year, we lost the original founder due to an illness, which really affected us. For me, I contemplated quitting Destiny as I played with Steve. Cronus is what his game tag was every night. But one of my clan mates reminded me that Steve wanted the clan to become something good, and he would be cursing me if I stopped playing. LOL. We are a UK-based clan. We are a serious/casual group of adult guardians, mainly dads, so ignore the kids in the background, who group up for Nightfall's raids, PvP, trials, and mostly anything else. We enjoy running raids, and although we play seriously, we still like to have a laugh. We have guys and gals from all over the solar system, UK, US, EU, etc. We are more PvE focused, but when time permits, we do PvP. We don't care what skill level you are or what your KD is, as long as you're just happy to have fun and shoot aliens in the face. We have a lot of experienced Destiny players who love to teach and help with quests, etc. We are only small, currently about 35 members, but probably would like to stay under 100, no more than that probably if possible. We're active every day, all different times, because we have members all over the world. There isn't a day when someone isn't on. Contact is go to bungie.net and message myself or one of the admins, and that's Adam, and his gamer tag is CoolBreeze2411 on Xbox. But if you just go to the bungie.net, look up Alpha 001 Company, and send them a message, the admins or anybody there, they'll hit you back, and hey, they sound like they are very passionate about the game, and they're a lot of fun. And hey, if you're on the Xbox side and you need a clan, go look them up.
Boom. And if you want to have your clan spotlighted here on the show, head over to our website, theguardiansofdestiny.com. You'll see a link to a form. Fill that out, and you might have your clan listed here on the show. So, all right, guys, let's move on here to our final segment, the part of the show where we give you a voice that we call Messages from the City. Don't forget you can email us feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com, just like Jonathan did. And he said, hello, guys, fellow listener for 2 years now, and enjoy listening to every minute of the podcast. Keep it up, guys, and thank you for what you do for the Destiny community. There's no others as unique as this podcast. I wanted to discuss a topic about how Bungie is delivering their story of Destiny to us, a lot of which have the main campaign, adventures, some are mixed in strikes, and that makes it confusing because everything is so fast-paced that you miss out on a lot of the dialogue. It feels dry. It is a first-person shooter after all, but how would you guys approach on delivering the story so that the players can well receive the dialogues presenting to us? Possibly raising the level cap to add more story content? Jonathan. Well, thank you, Jonathan, number one, for the feedback, or for reaching out the good comments here about us. We appreciate you, man, listening. But what do you guys think? I mean, he's kind of right. I mean, a lot of times you're just in the thick of the action. You're focusing more. I mean, a lot of times when they are giving us dialogue, we're running through a cave or you're running on the surface of Nessus or whatever, and so you're not really listening. I'm trying to think of like a good first-person game that did story the best. And one of the games that everybody points to, and this goes back to 2009, 2008 when it came out, is BioShock. BioShock was a game where you went around and the story was presented to you through dialogue, but there were also the little audio clips that you would find, and you kind of would engage with them yourself if you wanted to engage in the story. And essentially, like with D1, the Grimoire kind of filled that space. So it's like, and I remember everybody always saying it, and kind of why early on we did the audio Grimoire was, let us hear it. Let us be able to go engage. Like, what if the Grimoire were just out in the world? And in this case, it wouldn't be Grimoire, D2, it would be whatever it is, but you would go press play on the button or whatever it is, and then as you're just going out on patrol, you could engage with that content and listen to it yourself. That probably would be the best way for them to do it, because unfortunately, just the way the game is, we're always in the thick of things, right? There really isn't much downtime
when D2
dropped, story on us.
We had asked and asked and asked for more cutscenes, and when D2 dropped, we had a crap ton of cutscenes, right? There was cutscenes everywhere, and it was great. But in this campaign, there really weren't that many. And when you dropped into a new thing, your ghost would say something, or somebody would talk to you over your little, I'm calling it my headset, but through your ghost, as far as a communicate, but you're usually busy shooting somebody in the face. You're not necessarily looking or listening. Yeah. So I completely understand what they're saying. I kind of wish it was where one of those situations where when you encounter somebody or a new area or a certain something, you have to make a decision on an answer or whatever to then drive the story. And you could always go back and do it again and choose a different answer and see how that would have affected you. But I think that's the thing. I would like to have more choices of what I'm thinking and saying and responding to certain situations, and might take me down a certain path. More. Yeah, somebody just said in chat, more MMO type deal. Yeah. I would love that.
Or like a BioWare game, like the original Mass Effect trilogy. Let's not. We're not going to throw Andromeda out there because it's garbage, but. Something like that is possibly something that, people would want to see. But, somebody mentioned Halo 1, 2, and 3 in the chat. I mean, Halo 1, 2, and 3 had awesome cutscenes. You had a lot of AI characters kind of with you that were providing that narrative. They had terminals that you would go and find, which was a very Bungie thing in all the Bungie games, even back to Marathon. I mean, Craig, who was one of our original hosts of the show, like, the guy loves the game Marathon by Bungie, and he would go out and find the terminals in the game world, and there was all story. And really, those were just in-game grimoire, And now we have the dialogue we have in the game as well. Now we at least have the lore tabs in-game, right? I know the lore community, that's not the exact fix that they wanted, but at least to me, is better than making you go on the internet to read the grimoire cards, I think.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
One thing to chime in, too, is that to your point, Mark, about just you get in the heat of battle and you're shooting things. This is, like, everyone's going to laugh at me on this one. This is a Mesa fell here, but I didn't even realize until maybe a few weeks ago that the strike of Sabathoud's song, that you're going down there and Guardians are being killed and they're harnessing their void light, and that Takeo is that final one that you're talking to her, and then she dies at the end and we're avenging her. I was just so completely engulfed in shooting aliens that I didn't realize, like, oh, wait a second. Because someone pointed out that where you shoot the crystals,
you see the
little ghost shells.
You see the ghost.
Someone pointed that out. Man. I was like, then it made me listen a little more. Then I put two and two. I'm like, oh, wait, Takeo's alive until we get to the end. You know what I mean? But you're right, Mark. I get so focused on, I want to shoot aliens. I'm looking for yellow bars. I need to get power. Which weapon am I using? What am I using for DPS that I'm not paying attention to that stuff? I think the adventures and stuff is a great opportunity to continue the story on and stuff like that. But for the most part, I did all the adventures within Warmind, and they're cool enough, but they didn't really, I feel like, add on that much to the story for myself personally. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, the Cabal are up to some shenanigans. Go. Devram K is dropping some bomb spots here. Lure them in and blow them up. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? I don't know. I just know that I needed to do it so I could finish my Polaris Lance quest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not complaining, but this campaign felt more like a training ground than any of the other campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
You had to learn a mechanic and kill the captain, pick up a ball, throw it, and like it was a training ground more than
but was that more because the missions we did that were in the missions that were strikes? Because when I think of that, that's the Nakra strike, right? That's the one where you pick up the ball because at the end of the fight you do that. Like it just. The Valkyrie you needed to fight Zol at the end, and then you're doing it there. Right. So it's like, and that's just I think the fact that that's kind of they repurpose those missions as strikes.
And they've done the same thing like that before. And we've had a thing where you had to pick up the ball and throw it because we went into the raid. So I get that, but this one it just felt like I agree with them. There wasn't that much as far as story and lore that if you really are into that. You probably felt like that wasn't as much as you wanted. And I was probably shooting somebody in the face and wasn't listening anyway. Whereas, it felt to me like it was really more of a training, of different things you have to do to go forward and later on in the raid layer or wherever,
I think of the smaller expansions, this was the one campaign wise that I thought was honestly the best. The only issue I think is saw a bunch of people say this. It almost seemed like they skipped a chapter or two. Like suddenly you're at the Warmind and there's Zavala and you're just like, wait a minute, how is he here? And there was just so many just pieces that seemed to be missing. But overall, for me, I like the campaign because we went to so many different places. You're on the surface
it was
of Mars,
fun. Don't get me wrong, it was a blast.
It just seemed a little bit more. There was more variety this time around in the campaign, which I thought was kind of neat. This go around. But, if you're a lore person, I don't really know how much you got out of it. It seems like the lore community is pretty divided and more on the fact that they didn't really enjoy it too much because it seems like the lore wasn't really respected so much this go around. But that's kind of what it's the decisions they're making right now. I don't know.
Meanwhile, you have real in life stuff with a freaking Valkyrie and coins and things.
Yep.
Vicarious Visions brought it.
They did a great job.
They did a great job, man.
Get them working on more for sure. Let's see. This next one comes to us from Architect, and he says, "Hey guys, I've been playing some competitive solo this week, and have been noticing a decent amount of quitters, even in fairly balanced matches. Sometimes I'll even spawn into a 2v4 right at the start, which is particularly frustrating in survival for both teams. Do you think the current penalties Bungie has implemented for competitive are enough of a deterrent to stop quitters? What would you think of a system similar to Overwatch, where if a player leaves in the opening minute of the game, the match is canceled and penalizes leaving Guardian's fire team? Or heck, if there are no groups, just rebalance the teams at the start, like in Team Fortress 2. Loving all the stuff to grind for, Bungie. Keep up the good work. Architect, female awoken Night Stalker for life." I think that's a great idea. If in the first minute they're gone, I mean, it's the same way in most MOBAs. I mean, Kate of Paragon was the same way. If a team leaves, you can choose to get out of there. And not be penalized. I mean, when you're playing in a competitive match where the rank matters, the whole point of playing in competitive is your rank should matter. If people leave and it's going to create a bad experience, it shouldn't penalize
if they
everybody.
leave, do they get a loss?
I would assume you do.
Yeah.
I mean, they should.
I just asked because I haven't played any competitive. I mean, I'm one of the types I've just come to the conclusion I'm not going to have the Claymore, and I'm fine with that. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? I love quick play. You know what I mean? But I could see that being a major issue, that they really need to do something, I think, a little bit more than just having the basic penalties they have there right now for competitive. Because, I mean, look, you got a lot of people grinding for that Redrix's Claymore right now.
Yep.
And that's completely unfair if people are rage quitting and then you spawn in and now you earned yourself a loss. You know what I mean? Like, whereas in quick play, it doesn't matter if I lose or not. You know what I mean? I'm still going to go up, Yep.
Well, yes. Although my not necessarily problem, but issue might be that game mode is my favorite game mode to play. It's so fun, man. If competitive, that game
countdown
mode, countdown. I'm sorry. Right.
Oh,
so when you're playing countdown, that is so fun, and there's so much strategy involved. And if you've got a fire team and communicating, man, is it fun. And it's just such a blast. So, I hope people really put a little bit of time in to try and put a fire team together and go in and play it, because it's not impossible to get to level up in that, because you get twice as many points for a win as you lose for a loss. So you can get there. Is it going to take some time? Hell yeah, it's going to take some time. But if you enjoy it and have fun doing it and you're with your friends, you'll get there. You just got to, hey, you got to grind. You like the grind? Go get it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Last email comes to us from Darren. He says, "Hey guys, loving your discussion on Warmind. I played the daylights out of it with 2 characters in the first week and loved the content. I even enjoy sitting or getting spanked in Escalation Protocol. I'm completely good with slowing down the powering up, but I truly believe Mark nailed it on the head with it, putting people off like myself." Thank you. He says, "I love strikes. I willingly logged in for weeks last season to get the full set for my Titan. I really enjoy the harder heroic strikes. That said, I don't have a raid team. I don't have time in my personal life for raids. Haven't completed the last 4 raids. But that said, I love this game. I played since the beta. Was okay not hitting max light in D1. I log in to play for fun, and sometimes some of my clan or friends are online. We just get to chat and play. I'm pretty convinced that I won't even be able to play Escalation Protocol until the next content drop, and that makes me sad. I don't have time to play other games, really, so I don't really buy them or play them, but now I'm shopping, and this makes me incredibly sad. D1 by Taken King had nailed it for the casuals like myself and friends, and also for the hardcores with raids and such. The new content is amazing, and I wish I could play it, but unfortunately it's all time locked for me, and I don't know why to come back and hand Bungie my money if the content I'm paying for isn't available to me. Thanks for your great perspectives. Been listening for a couple years now and couldn't be happier. On the Xbox .dub86. Cheers, Darren. Well, Darren, thanks for sending that in. And, this, of course, was before we had the update in the TWAB. So hopefully that was, music to your ears that now you will be able to at least get up to 365.
Yep.
And at that point, be able to start tackling Escalation Protocol. And at that point, I think we're going to start seeing more people in those public spaces all going for it. And, Sean said his group, they needed to be messaging some of the randoms in that area.
Yeah.
Do that. Don't be afraid to do that, because especially if you see those people are around 363s, 364, they're wanting to do it just like you, and you're both standing there staring at each other. Like,
look, it goes in line with Bungie's philosophy. This game is a community game. Yep. They want you to make friends, play with friends, meet other people. Escalation Protocol is a perfect example. Let's say a month from now, I log in and I'm on the server and I go through and I see 375, 372, 373. You know what? I'll set up a party. Guys, girls, do you want to do Escalation Protocol? You know what I mean? Like, more than likely.
Just message them.
I think that's their intention, is that people will randomly do it when they're powerful enough. But more importantly, they might start making friends because they're out and about. They see other people. Hey, this person's 375. You know what? They've got a master. I see what they're using weapon-wise. Hey, maybe we could do, some Escalation Protocol. Hey, you know what? You have 2 friends. You know what? I have 2 other friends. Let's make 2 fire teams on the same server. I think that's their goal, is to get people down the road when they're powerful enough, but then start meeting other people within that patrol zone. You know what I mean?
Sean, when you message those people, are you doing it through the PlayStation?
Yes.
Yeah, because one tip I'll give people, like, if you don't, because that's part of it. Some people are like, I hate typing, on with my controller and that. Get the app. Get the PlayStation app, and then there's a messenger app on your phone.
Yes,
You can text just like you're texting on your phone. You see the person's name, punch it in, send them a message through that. It's so much easier when you link it. When they message you back, it hits your phone and your PlayStation. Pick up your phone and just text them.
But we just keep sending them PS4 party chat invites because we want to talk to them.
Oh, talking to them. I gotcha. Okay,
see if they're interested and see what their power level is. And a few of the times it was just someone who's, I just come back to the game on 350 doing an adventure. And then I would say, listen, we want to, can we use your fire team to get an Iron Man Escalation Protocol going? Yeah. And then we add him as a friend, but like, listen, if you ever need help leveling up, shoot us a message. You know what I mean? So I've met new people by getting these 9-player fire teams together to do Escalation Protocol right now. And let's be frank, guys, there's only 3 weapons in the game. In Escalation Protocol and an armor set, okay?
Right.
I know the shotgun's the most amazing thing in the game. Okay, look, I use rocket launchers and snipers. I'm not a big shotgun person in PvE.
I'm with you, Sean.
I only want the submachine gun. I want the submachine gun so bad. If they would have added a loophole, like with 7 or 8 weapons that were all like amazing, everyone would really be going crazy right now with trying to get.
Don't you think that's coming though, Shawnee? Don't you think
I don't.
Coming,
no, man. This is it. We got it.
This is it. That's the loot for Escalation Protocol. You have the coolest looking loot in the game.
Yeah, it's cool as hell.
And 3 really good weapons. You know what I mean? That's the loot for it. And
so
then
sorry,
once
go ahead.
everyone gets them, they're done. You know what I mean?
Well, the funny thing about this email, and Darren, thank you for sending that email, is he's saying he hasn't had time for the raids, but he loves the heroics. Dude, the heroics takes as long as a friggin' raid.
Sometimes.
Yeah, like I did the raid this last week, and
you can do it by yourself though.
It took 45 minutes. And some of these heroics, when you're dying, it takes 45 minutes sometimes. It just depends on, not this week with Void, but man, so if you have the time to put in, there's no reason, especially if you have friends and even in there mentioned the clan, that you can't do these raids, because the raids have been mastered over and over and over. If you can get a group of people that are, competent, hit up somebody on, whatever you're on Xbox, hit up that clan that I just spotted out in the clan spotlight and talk to them and get a group together. Do the raids. If you want to level up in this game, that's the way to do it. Go do those raids. Do the old raids. You don't even have to do it on prestige. You'll level up really quick. So if you've got time to do a heroic, trust me, if you got a competent team, you got time to do a raid.
Yeah, but again, dude, the hurdle is just getting that raid group.
Agreed. Agreed. Absolutely right. Yeah.
One little joke I have to make though is you're not a real guardian if you fly into the heroic strike and its exits crash and you leave. You're not a real guardian. If you stay and finish that strike with random.
Let me turn in my guardian badge. Hold on.
You're a real guardian.
There it is.
Dude, I did it twice last week.
Put it on the table.
It came up 3 times last week for me. I stayed in it. It was Void.
Sean, so here's the difference between you and the rest of humanity.
20 power levels is the difference, K-Dub, at that point.
We don't have the time.
I know.
I don't have 3 hours to run those strikes. I got 45 minutes, and I got to be out.
Now, early on when we were like 342, yeah, the heroics were a little bit tough. Now, I mean,
no, I understand.
But at that point, Sean, you were probably like 370, so you're gonna be all right in that.
But I was with people that were 350s and getting wasted, but I trekked through it because I didn't want to leave them behind. Because of course it was rezzing, and there was that time where I die, the other guy dies. I'm like, just please go hide, please go hide.
But the thing that I'm pointing out is, because somebody leaves, don't think that they're a schmuck. They might not have the time to try and grind through that thing.
I'm just joking.
I know that. I know. I'm saying that for everybody else that's listening to know that if they are pissed off about the same type of thing, hey, you don't, walk a mile in somebody else's moccasins, type deal. You don't know what's going on with them. Don't think that they're being a schmuck because they had to back out. If they might not have the time to do it or be at level to go bang their head against the wall for an hour. You know what I mean?
I do agree with everyone saying in chat right now. Yes, the Exodus Crash Strike is my least favorite strike. I don't like it. But I will trek through it just because because I've loaded into it where I'm just at the beginning or like the first section of it, and I joined in on people because it means that someone else left. I'll stick it out with them. You know what I mean? I'm like, F it, I'll just stick it out. It's mainly because of that boss fight. Now that they fixed it, because the Exodus Crash Strike has Nightfall Strike specific loot. I think it might be a vanity or a cosmetic item. That strike's gonna come up as a Nightfall fairly soon. Oh yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they do it tomorrow because they haven't done
Arc.
it yet.
Ugh.
Oh my God. Well, no, hold on. No, you choose what you want.
That's right.
Right. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the heroic.
Here's how you triple dip. If you want to get 3 pieces of powerful gear from the Nightfall, here, you do the 270. At the end of it, you will get a drop that will be powerful gear. Then you go to Zavala. He gives you powerful gear. Then you fire a prestige. You take the legendary Shadow of, 5 of Swords card that you got from Zerg for free. You put Void Singe or whatever. We did Void Singe with heavyweight on it. Yes, no disadvantages. Don't care about score. Go in. You do the prestige. You will get a drop at the end of that. That's 3 powerful gear drops in 1 Nightfall strike.
Yep.
Nice.
No, that's really good. Go over that one more time because people that are listening, you should take
so
notes.
Caleb's got his pen out.
Okay, so you have a character that you want to get.
Caleb's writing down right now.
No, so you have a character that you want to get 3 powerful gear drops for.
Right.
So you do the Nightfall on 270. When you complete it at the end, you should get a powerful gear drop when you kill the boss, be it armor or weapon. Right. Then you go back and see Zavala. He's got a reward for you from him. That's powerful gear. Then you do it one more time on Prestige, but you set it to no score handicap, 0. Put Void, Arc, Solar Singe on. Put the heavyweight modifier, which gives you more heavy bricks everywhere and more damage from heavy. Right. And then no disadvantages. They're easier than heroic strikes, okay? You burn through it, and at the end of that, you should get another powerful gear drop right when you finish the prestige.
Nice.
So that's 3 powerful gear drops. But we did that last week. We didn't even realize it. Me and my friends, shout out to Rocco and Son of Krypton. We were like, hey, wait a second. We can get 3 powerful gear drops on 1 character. Yep. So we ran
that's killer, man.
9 Nightfalls last week. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
I heard you talk about that last week, and I was like, man, that's great. People need to know this. So that's why I had you reiterate it, because if you weren't listening and taking a note, then you needed to do that. So that's a really good tip. Yep.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up there, guys. This is one of the longest ones we've done in a while, I think, man. We're already going
on of info.
An hour 20, definitely. So everybody, thank you as always here for tuning into the show. We appreciate it. Sean, you want to throw out some plugs? What do you got this week, man? Coming up?
This week, the weekly reset video right at reset, and then I think I'm going to stream the step 3 of the Polaris Lance quest right after with my friends, because it looks like the quest steps are going to be, I have them on my desktop somewhere, but it's basically complete escalation protocol waves, and you can just keep doing wave 1 over and over and over. Then you've got to do it says Vanguard strikes completed. Then from there, you find a cache, you upload, so tomorrow's going to be easy. You just do a few waves of Escalation Protocol, and then you got to do some heroic strikes. So nice. I'll probably be streaming that, and then the usual stuff.
Cool. Kato, what do you got this week? Anything, man?
Sweet, man. Not much. Just it's been a lot of fun going through the grind. I wanted to be able to level up a little quicker, but the positives that I take out of it is, once again, Bungie's listening, man. They're taking feedback. They're making changes. Do we wish maybe something was there at drop? Hey, hindsight's 2020. But again, they're listening and they're making changes that we asked for. And May 29th can't come soon enough. So 8 days away. Let's go.
Yeah, baby. All right. Well, everybody, thank you as always here for tuning into the show. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Guardians of D. Email us feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com. You can find the archive, the video archive here of the show over on Sean's YouTube channel at youtube.com/Mesa Sean. You can find all these links in the show notes if you're listening to the audio version. And of course, we do the show live every Monday night. So thank you to everybody over in the YouTube chat. Thank you guys here for hanging out with us. And thank you, of course, for making us a part of your week, however you're tuning in, whether it's through YouTube, through Podbean, through iTunes, or your podcast service of choice. Thank you so much. Yeah. And with that, guys, we'll catch you guys next time. Later.
I made it to the end. Love the minute to the end hashtags at the end of the show. It's great.
Good show, guys. Good show.
Yeah, good show, man. Definitely.
Max right here. Hashtag mini in it. Adios, amigos.
Say, who I saw you had somebody subbed, right, to the show? Somebody subbed? Doing it?
We got one donation, no new sponsors today.
Oh, it was a donation.
Yeah. Asking a question, too. Everyone's doing hashtag made it to the end.
Made it to the end.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. This is going to archive right now, and this will be available on iTunes, Podbean, and all your other venues where you can listen to podcasts.
All right, Stream. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you.
All right, Stream. See you guys.